Let me make sure my YouTube's muted. And of course, the first thing that's heard is someone off camera that I asked to be quiet already, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm usually the one destroying our things.
Oh, man. Well, thank you, ladies. As you can see, everyone, I am joined by Tanya and Nikki from the Thousand Eyes and One podcast. If you've been around me with the Game of Thrones community that we have, I sure hope you know who these two ladies are. Tanya,
Hi.
Please go first.
Hi, I'm Tanya from A Thousand Eyes and One.
And I'm Nikki from A Thousand Eyes and One.
We podcast.
Yeah,
we podcast about Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire. Lately, we've been doing our book club, Wine on an Empty Stomach, and where we just explore speculative fiction. We pick books that we like, that we want to reread, and then we talk about them.
Yep, and we also host virtual now because of the pandemic online trivia where we ask Game of Thrones questions and invite you to bring all of your fanatics with you and make teams and answer some questions.
Yep.
Indeed, and those are always fun to do. I've been a part of a couple of them. We most recently had one where we met the Four-Eyed Raven.
Yes,
that was a great costume.
Thank you.
Both of you ladies look great,
look.
but I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to give the edge to Tanya on that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She
Thank you.
had nothing. I did Taroshi Maiden, but man,
those feathers were hot as hell.
They looked like they
were real.
You wore
real
them
feathers. Well. Thank you. Yeah, they were real feathers, so they were insulated.
Oh man, well, I am very happy that we were able to link up and come on and talk about this movie. And like I said before, I don't know how many people are even going to come into the chat today because this is a really old movie. This came out, I believe, in 1985.
88.
88? Okay.
Yeah, 88.
So I was about seven and a half, getting ready to turn 8 in 88. And oddly enough, when I watch scary and creepy movies, I usually do it during the daytime or not at all, just because things like that scare me.
Me too.
But The Serpent The Rainbow is one of those few horror movies that I've been watching since I was a child and never had any fear at all. Which I don't know why that is, but it's weird.
I found it very spooky, but I wasn't really scared.
It wasn't like chill to my bones. I need to sleep with all the lights on scared.
Right.
Yeah.
It does have a creepy factor though.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was very
creepy, but I was really worried about whether I should watch it at night. But as I started watching, I was like, oh, this is fine because I'm a daytime horror movie watcher too.
Because I usually have to have a palate cleanse for afterwards, something really light.
Yeah. Yeah, and people always laugh at me when I tell them that. I'm like, look, I live alone, okay? You're not snuggling in my bed with me later, so we're just not going to do any of that. I did do a slight bit of research on this, though. Because I do always, in the beginning of the movie, it says it's inspired by a true story. And inspired, I think, is even too strong of a word.
Yeah.
It's based on a book by Wade Davis, who is... I'll make sure I actually pronounce this right, an ethnobotanist. And he was doing studies to see if the actual process of zombification, which, if you know anything about West Indian culture, places like Haiti tend to have a long history with that subject. And he wanted to see if any of it was based in science fact versus the fantastical tales that you'll hear from people that just go visit the island. And while he did find some things and, he did put a book out about it and things are in study, at least according to the book, things were still being studied back then. The movie itself is only based on a few small chunks of that. And they did the Hollywood magic, spun it all together, gave it to Wes Craven, one of the greatest horror masters ever. And this is the movie we got, which I found to be very enjoyable. So I guess off rip, just overall, what did you guys think? Nikki, you go ahead and take it first.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think that I was looking for, I guess, to be a little bit more scared, but I think because kind of the subject of voodoo, and these are things that I've grown up kind of hearing whispers of within the family. I was more interested in seeing Bill Pullman's character kind of infiltrate and to see how it may be received and what he would do with the information that he got. Because you always see like these, oh, I'm like going into the jungle to like discover and find myself in this. And so you got a little bit of that, but it seemed like for the most part that he was, you know, with corporate interests aside, very interested in like, you know,
he was. Yeah. I
liked it. And I watched it again,
enjoy.
like right just a little while ago. I feel like it's one that I'll now have like on deck and in my rotation.
Tanya?
I enjoyed it too. I literally just watched it this morning. Usually I try to watch twice, so I didn't have enough time to watch twice, but I really enjoyed it too. And I ended up looking up the toxin that they were describing, tetra something, I forgot what it's called, to see if that was a real thing. And it is.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. I was like, is that a real thing? I too was a little put off by the lack of Haitian accents. Because I was kind of like,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So they definitely use the like generic foreign black accent. Where it's like, is it an African accent? Is it a Caribbean accent? We don't know. So
it always tends to sound more African to me.
And if it's rhythmically speaking and sing-songy, then it must be foreign.
Right. And also like slightly British, which was weird too, since, you know, Haiti was French. So I was like, you know, we should have used a French accent. But that aside, I did enjoy it. Actually, some of it I found really funny, and I feel like maybe it wasn't supposed to be funny, but I had a You're not few alone laughs. Yeah, there were parts of it that I found really funny. And my husband watched it with me, and we were both cracking up at certain points. You know, like when he had his first trip, and he was rolling around on the ground.
I was with his spirit animal.
Yeah, I was in hysterics at him rolling around and like him just like simply not learning from that. Because at that point, you know, I would have left it alone. And you know, like, you work for a college, like I you know, knowing how they pay, I'm like, I don't think that's worth it, bro.
Not to go to anybody's jungle. I mean, okay, let me backtrack a little bit, just because. Hey, Casey, just to backtrack a little bit, the accents.
Yeah.
The cast that they got for the main characters, the people of color, they bagged a stellar cast. Everyone that was on, you know, the other watched before, but none of them were compelled to properly do or learn the right accent.
Well, I find that a lot with
slightly disappointing, but it was the 80s.
But even now, they don't. I was gonna say, even now, I find that when it's a Caribbean accent specifically, they tend to, it doesn't sound like they use dialect coaches. It feels like people just kind of feel like, oh, I can pull it off. You know, like I think about Luke Cage.
Like they went to Jamaica for a weekend holiday, and I'm like, that's what they came back with.
They could have gone to Brooklyn.
Exactly.
A bunch of Jamaicans. Like I always say,
you didn't even have to leave the country.
Yeah, I mean, it was filmed right here in New York. It was filmed, so a lot of it was filmed up the street from where I live. You know, and there's plenty of Jamaicans that could have walked down 125th and snatched up a few Jamaicans
easily.
And you know, and I feel like people tend to use dialect coaches for other accents, but when it's Caribbean accents, they just kind of feel like, you know, I get it. But
because to them, it really does all sound the same. Like the ear is just not discerning or practiced enough to understand the subtle differences between the accents of the islands.
Maybe
I will give you that.
Maybe
that is true.
Yeah, because I definitely noticed the difference.
Yeah, because I gave it a pass because it was like 1988. Like if they had to reboot it, they'd better get like just like the little subtleties in the Haitian accent. Like
they would have to get that right.
Yeah, like
or
have someone say an art for you and
French.
see what that sounds like.
Right, at least French. You know.
They at least did, because you have the Creole French in there. There's a tweak to that accent that I can't do it. I know I can't pull it off, but there is a specific way that those folks talk, and when you mix that with an actual from Haiti accent, it's very, very different sounding than the rest of the West Indies.
Yeah.
So if ever it was a Ruby, I would hope that they would pay attention to that because it's important for the culture.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Okay, so my very first thing, let's go ahead and start with the spirit guide.
I want that.
So, look, if I get to go play with a big cat in the woods, okay, That's cool.
Mhm.
I
But the quick
do
factor
not.
there for me, see, and that's what I'm coming up to. The quick factor there for me is one, I'm going to the jungle. I don't do nature like that. Bad things tend to happen in those areas. I'm
neither.
just not for it. And then you're taking me basically to the village witch doctor, and he's giving me something to smoke that I don't know exactly how that's gonna affect me. And then when I come out of it, I don't see anyone there. Like, everyone's literally gone. Their bodies aren't even there anymore. The one body you found is the helicopter guy, and you just run off into the jungle instead of just pulling his body out and flying away.
Yeah.
I don't understand how running off into the jungle was better than getting on the helicopter. It wouldn't have been that hard to figure out, would it?
I was gonna say, I don't know if his PhD came with a pilot's license, so I feel like he
probably
would have
couldn't
maybe
fly
gotten into
one.
more trouble flying out. But that alone is just like, well, was there a radio on board? Was there some way that you could signal or start a fire that someone would pay attention to? Like, oh.
See, I would have still been crying from my trip, so I wouldn't have even gotten that far. The movie would have ended right there. Like, I have to be honest, like, I can't even handle little bits of THC, so the movie would have ended there if I were the lead, because I would have just been
you
curled
were
in a
just
ball,
laying on the floor,
just laying on the floor and crying, and it would be an hour and 38 minutes of me crying on a jungle ground.
It wouldn't have been an hour 38 minutes. No, some random animal would have came by and smelled the death, and you would just been dinner.
I would have been a snack, and not in the way I want. But yeah, I suppose he was very
boy,
brave.
I'm glad you got that line out before I actually put the liquid in my mouth. I don't need beer spraying all over my computer. It's too expensive to replace. Oh boy. Okay, so moving into well, we just started, so probably at least another hour. That's my auntie.
Hi, auntie.
And after that, no, I don't have any more streams. I've been bothering her being loud, so she says, with the streams today. Hey, what's going on, Alan? The Cookie Monster himself is in the chat.
Hello,
welcome to everyone. I mean, this is actually more folks than I thought would be here, so I appreciate y'all coming to check us out. Got House Drawbridge, Casey is in here, Peter Griffin, TheGranitePerson, my guy TGP, always hanging around, OTDA, always in the chats and supporting the girls. I appreciate that. Let's see, we got the Cookie Monster, Alan. Alan has the Cookie Monster nickname because of this thing we call Ginger Ale Chat from back in the day. I don't know if y'all are about the adult persuasion conversations, but if you feel the need to have that one time, I would love to have you guys on for Ginger Ale Chat. I think it'd be fun.
Okay.
We basically drink and talk about random adult and X-rated things and our thoughts on those
penises.
Things. And vaginas, yes.
That sounds like a great time.
Indeed.
It's like what we talk about all day.
It usually is. It usually is.
I have thoughts on that.
Okay. I'm going to put a pin in that. I will put a pin in that, and we will come back to that at a later date. All right, but back to the show. So, oh, hey, Skinny Minnie, I didn't see you over here. I'm sorry, there's tiny humans over here now. I get distracted. I love tiny humans.
Me too.
So we're out the jungle. I did get a few chuckles when he found that road. You know, the spirit guide came and took him to the road, and those guys in the truck that passed them were they looked at him, and I think they read the room correctly, and they were like, "Yeah, we are not going anywhere near this random white boy that just ran out the jungle," and they were laughing at him. So and I was like, you know what?
That's the correct response.
Appropriate response.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
then
historically
he made it
appropriate.
that part, if you know, you know. We're not going to go all the way into it. So homeboy makes it home, and he's so fascinating. Okay, I said we weren't going to go there, but I guess I am. It plays into the common stereotype. You know, he's the random white boy that saw some fantastical stuff in the jungles of the West Indies, and now he's got to go tell the world, like, yo, this can change your life. I discovered this new thing. First of all, you didn't discover shit that other people are already on, so stop it. And two, just stop it. just stop all of it. So his Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say it made me not feel bad for him with the bad things that were happening to him.
I had no sorrow or sympathies for him either, really. I was like, what are you putting your nose in places that it doesn't belong? You're meddling. Go away.
Sorry. I haven't seen these cousins in like 6 months. Yes, the hair got long. Okay. All right. Hey, wait. Say hi to the tiny human. I don't know. Can you see her?
Human.
No, you can't.
No, she's lost in the background.
Yeah. Wait. This way. There she is. A little bit. There it is.
Aw, hi.
All right, run away. Sorry, intermission. I always give intermissions for my tiny humans. I heart them. Yes, I do have a lot of tiny humans, and you're one of them, so shush. Okay, I'm sorry. Where were we?
I was saying about not having sympathy for him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I really didn't. First of all, you made it out. Okay, you had, and because that's no small thing that you got mixed up in the jungle there. That's no small thing at all. You made it out. You got back stateside, and now you're giving all these claims. And of course, the old rich guy that he's talking to, that's the head of his department, is like, oh yeah, we could absolutely do something with that. We need to send somebody in undercover. And of course, he volunteers for the situation, and he goes back. And already at that point, they know this man's face. They know his name. They know exactly where he is going to be going. And he seems surprised when he gets to gets back to the country. I forget the lady's name. I know her last name is
the doctor
Tyson. She's Kathy Tyson. Yeah, the doctor. I forget what her character name is.
Marielle.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. But she met up with him. They came in. Now they're kind of at the real beginning point for how everything's going to go down at the dinner party that they were having, where Paul Winfield let us know that the spirits were happy that night. Mm-hmm. And I love that they had Paul Winfield. And this, like I said, the people of color actors that they had in this movie were stellar back in the day.
Oh yeah, top tier.
Yeah, and we get into this this dance that Marielle is doing. But then he sees a face in the crowd that he recognizes from the mishap in the vision that he had in the jungle.
Right.
And he seems to get nervous, but Paul Winfield's there. He's like, yeah, you do want to watch that guy, but he kind of plays it off like it's not really that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. But then Mr. Man picks up a glass, and people like to tap to the beat and whatnot. Well, the rhythm he was putting out was not on beat, not on beat at all. And I didn't catch it as a kid. It wasn't until I got older and started seeing what the things were with voodoo and how it relates to our culture. But he basically threw salt in the game, to put it simply. He put his own mix in there, and that mix is what triggered something in Marielle and in one of the young men that were in that dance. Mm-hmm. And Marielle almost got. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a scary thing there. But go ahead.
I was gonna say that was another moment where I had an inappropriate laugh, because when he hit the guy in the head with the bottle, it did nothing. Like he thought he saved the day. Hit him in the head with the bottle, and it did nothing.
See, he did that after you saw this man just turn around and full on Superman push a grown man back like 10 feet from where he was. That's not normal.
And you thought nothing. Right. I am averse to danger. I would have been on my way to the airport.
As soon as I saw the guy's face from my vision, from my ayahuasca vision, I would have no. It's time to go.
Gone.
There's no way. Mm-hmm. There's no way.
There is no calming me down. There is no that vision that he had was not a bad thing. He was literally there to find his spirit guide while he was there. It literally was to try to give him some protection. But what isn't supposed to happen is no one's supposed to be able to break into a vision like that. Right. And that man did. So when you see him in the real world, why are you still there? That should have let you know everything you needed to know about the situation. You should have been back on the States on the next thing smoking out of Haiti.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But stop by. Thank you, Justin. Top shelf fandom, you guys. Justin seriously is one of the coolest people I've had the pleasure of meeting in this whole Game of Thrones fandom. Yes, he is a great person. Y'all go check out his stuff. I mean, he actually produces a lot of streams for many folks in the Game of Thrones community. So definitely go check him out on the streams that he does himself as well on his channel.
Ooh.
Thank you for coming by, Justin. I appreciate you. And the real YT, I saw you just came in. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, besides all of that, something else that gave me a good chuckle is at the end of it all, when, you know, Paul Willifield covers the guy's face, says his little spell, and, you know, knocks him out of what was happening. All of the tourists, and I'm gonna say it, all of the white folks that were in the club stood up and clapped simply because they thought it was part of the show.
Yeah. They didn't know how close they were to death.
Completely wrong. They do not know. Right. They did not see the stranger sitting right there in the corner waiting to murk everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an undeveloped fear response that happens with white people in horror movies because these things just wouldn't happen.
Well,
like,
it's because
where's the icky feeling that makes you go,
there are no natural predators.
Guess that's what happens. I'm allowed to go unchecked.
Yeah. When you have no natural predators, it's, you know, the fear response isn't the same.
Yeah. I hate that. I hate to admit that, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. They didn't know that they needed to be fearful in that moment. And luckily, you know, nothing too bad happened there. But I feel like from that point, again, like I said, that's where he should have just went home. You know, but he continued his quest, and he did find one voodoo man. I call him the low-level voodoo man in the whole thing, because you know, he knows how to make some of the potions, you know, but of course he's a hustler, so that's what he does. Kudos to Bill Pullman though for actually seeing the game, and he was given a goat to see what the poison would do, and it killed the goat, yeah. But Bill Pullman's like, okay, but you need to bring it back though. Like that's the point of the zombie, right? It's somebody that's dead, and then when they come back, they're under your control. So he marks the foot of the goat that the guy does it to, just to make sure. And I can't blame him. I wouldn't have been in that situation, but if I was, I would have taken the same precaution. And you know, lo and behold, live in my Rhapsody, live my lady. Thank you for coming in. Yes.
If you don't drink, go move this thing over here.
I'm sorry. I like hearing my aunties talk sometimes because I miss that. Like I said, I live alone and I miss the accent sometimes. I only get to see them every couple months. I come bother them. But okay, so we go to Mozart. He does the thing, and then he comes back, and of course, we find it's a different goat. And Bill calls him out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. So he's like, all right, hold on. All right. I can make you the real thing, but we're going to have to do it a very specific way. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit. If you guys have anything to interject, I'm thinking my brain just really goes straight to the jungle scene when they're getting everything together and like the real ingredients where he has that bad dream with the snake, the huge snake that comes in.
And that bride, that was super creepy.
That was creepy, beyond creepy. Just dead things in the water. Pineapples. I don't like it. I don't want it. No. I'm sorry. My fandom's all mixed in my head sometimes.
Hey, thank you for coming. Is we here, Bo?
Look, I also the actors are making me feel at home too.
Don't put your foot in the chair. Can't put off your legs.
I know that sounds really morbid, y'all, but we're laughing because that's just how old West Indian women talk. Yeah. She doesn't mean she's not going to cut the child's foot off, but yeah, a lot of times they don't care what they say. And just the amount of not caring and no fucks given in the West Indian household just always does my heart good. But now that that's over, thank you for allowing me that intermission. There is one key character actually that I don't want to skip over before we get to that jungle scene is Kristoff.
Kristoff, yeah.
And Kristoff is one of the linchpins that actually starts our story off. And he's a real life zombie. And we saw him go through all of the checks. The doctor was looking at him, you know, that his heart actually had stopped. You know, and they did the pin in the eye test.
Oh my
to
God,
make
so
sure
grotesque.
Cringe.
they put the mirror
The
up to his nose.
stethoscope.
There was no breath. You know, so by all effective rights that we know how to check as humans, he was dead.
Yeah.
But of course, we see him in the coffin at the funeral, and they're
That
starting to put the board on, and he
tears.
starts crying. I'm like, oh my God, somebody see the tear. Look at him.
Oh, that
And
tear
it's
was
so
everything.
sad.
As soon as I saw that, I knew I was going to like the rest of the movie.
And you know what,
that's
too?
an important
That did it
detail.
all.
I
Go ahead,
thought
Tanya.
that it's such a different take on zombies than what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
Because these zombies weren't mindless, and
I feel like it's a
they weren't there
take
trying
on
to
what zombies can
eat
be.
anyone. Right. Well, I mean, it's literally just someone who was
It's
dead
about
and
control.
is now alive.
Mhm.
And this man controls their spirit and is controlling their body. But it has, you know, it's not like these mindless monsters trying to eat people, which is the zombies we get now. So it was, I was going to say it's like a fresh take, but it's from 1988. So not really, but
Yeah, it's
very
a more
different
original
from,
take.
it's a very different take on the zombies we get in our media now. And I like that.
I think it speaks to just like a difference in culture and like appreciation of death, like what death means, like in the culture. Like death doesn't, because you are dead, it doesn't mean that you're evil, or if you come back, you're not inherently evil because you died and you came back.
Right.
You know, you're just literally a lost soul because someone else has control of it.
Right.
And Christoph sees exactly through all of that. Like, you know, his motor functions are slowed, but he understands everything that's going around. He knows who did it to him. He knows where he is. Like when his sister identified him, but he doesn't want to stay at home with her. He says, no, I don't belong with the living. That's why when we see him, they find him in the cemetery, because he knows, like, no, this is wrong. I should not be here. I belong with the dead, not the living. And he's not able to do a whole lot because he's very afraid of the big man in charge, and he has all rights to be afraid. You know, and he says, you know, he tortures me. You know, I don't ever really get to sleep anymore. He makes me see bad things, and he's basically this man's slave. Like his soul is completely entrapped. He can't do anything about it. And that's a scary thought. I mean, you that's a scary thought for anyone that's alive. But when you're in that situation and you really have no way out, it's even worse what someone can make you do.
Yeah, like how hopeless must he feel? You know, like death is that's like the final. You're like supposed to be arrested for the
end.
Exactly, and for him, it's just a new, fresh hell. Like he's literally walking around, just underneath the control of someone else, being forced to do all these things, and he can't resist.
And when you think about it too, if you come from a culture where ancestors are revered, it's another hit because now he's died and he doesn't get to become an ancestor.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't even think on that
a lot
level.
Of pain.
That's so painful. Yeah, because for the West Indian culture, that's stable. Like you don't disrespect the ancestors, and if some folks may not believe these things can happen, but just saying, if you have a random dream and you see your great grandma come back and she says ABC, you better listen to ABC, because if you don't, what you're going to find is you're going to end up with the big hurt, and you're going to be wondering why, and she's just going to come to you in another dream like, bitch, I told you. Like,
can I tell you something?
I tried to help. You want to listen now, or are you still doing this nonsense?
One time I had a dream about my great grandma, and she kept trying to get me to follow her, and I thought it was really weird, and I woke up from it and I tweeted about it, and all these people started praying over me because they said she was trying to take me to death. Grandma, why? I was like, I miss you, but girl, I'm not ready.
That's kind of the gamble, though. You don't know which one it could have been. She might have just been trying to show you, yo, when you get to this crossroad, go here, not there. But again, that's still scary and creepy because
me, hurry up. What is taking you so long? And I was like,
don't go into the light, Carol Ann.
28. It was so funny. I tweeted about it, and all these people were like praying over me. They were like, "Girl, you need to be covered."
I mean, look,
like I used to always tell her I'd go with her, but I didn't.
She's like, not yet.
Not yet.
Right? Like, did you mean now though? Like, right. Wait a couple years,
right? Like, give me a little time, Grandma.
Yeah. So poor Christoph, he's here in the cemetery, and he gives them,
and his body and his mind. I mean, his mind is controlled. His spirit is taken from him. I mean, what is the worst thing you can do to someone? Take their soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has very limited power and capability of what he can do. He does give them the information that they need, but only a small amount of it, because he's like, oh no, dude's about to find me. I gotta go, and he jets back off into the jungle again. And the next time we see him is in another dream, and he's carrying that weird corpse bride looking thing, and like that's another no.
When her mouth opened up, I was like, no.
Oh my god, yeah.
No,
pineapples. Pineapples. I don't want
that was the one that she ended up. They ended up digging up, but they said she was a powerful sorceress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So chances are she was probably already working with the big voodoo man before she even died, which is likely why he knew he could call on her. So because you see, there's specific tasks. Well, how I read it, it seems like there's specific tasks that he sends certain souls to do. And I think there's maybe one or two times where we saw Christoph was there specifically to give information that he wanted Marielle and Bill Pullman's character to know.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but that's how the chips fell in my eyes.
That's really interesting to think of it that way, because then it's like they were set up from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I said, when he came back the second time to the country, they were marking him the minute he stepped off the plane.
He was definitely set up, because remember how quick they were to come and take pictures of him when he woke up with Christoph's sister's dead body.
Oh my god! Yeah,
we're right there with cameras ready and everything. He was absolutely set up.
I mean, when they finally caught up to him, you remember he gave him the rundown of what he was doing. Like, oh, you're a doctor? You just from the university? You doing some studies? Well, what you doing going to the morgue?
Yeah.
What you doing going to see this person? Why are you going to see that person? And his job, the Haitian guy, his job isn't he's like the chief of police or something. Like
he was the head of secret police.
Yeah, the Tonton Makut.
Yeah,
he was the head of them. They're like the secret disappear people police,
which is even worse.
Yeah.
So I mean,
definitely,
if that's his job, period, that's a bad deal. With all you go to the spiritual realm and you mix that in and all the nonsense that he controls and what he does, that just makes it even worse. That's a very dangerous man you're messing with.
Exactly, which brings you right back to that moment at the dinner party where he sees the man from his trip, and then he gets the introduction that this is the guy that makes people disappear when shit's not going right. It's time to go.
And he still stayed.
Yeah, no.
So much to the point to where they warned him that dance with Marielle, what happened there, that was a warning. He did not take heed to the warning, and he kept going. He kept searching. He found Christoph, got a little bit of information. Then he found Mozart, got some more information. And they also met that other lady that was being kept at Marielle's hospital. Mm-hmm. She wasn't in it for too much, but that was just she was another zombie that they found. Her brother, I think, had identified her from her birthmark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this isn't the only. There's multiple people walking around that this guy has his claws on, and you're still going around asking about this poison, like blatantly asking about it, not even trying to be secretive of what you're doing. I mean, he goes up to talk to Paul Winfield at a wedding that he's holding. He says, whoa, hey, shh, not another word. Let's go inside somewhere. Like, bro, do you not see the huge crowd around you? And have you not had enough warnings? You've had none.
There's like no tact and no discretion.
None.
And
he wasn't getting
almost dead.
They were very blatant warnings that he just shrugged
Extremely
off.
so.
And
Like
and that's why it was hard to feel bad for him. It was hard to have
Exactly.
sympathy for him because I'm like, you are
Yep.
quite literally asking for it at this point.
Yep. And by time he finally got Mozart to actually make him the correct potion, they started the process. They came up with the price, and then the scene in the jungle happened, of course, because it always happens when you have the lead white guy that's supposed to be the hero, and his connection in the country is the beautiful light-skinned black lady.
Mm-hmm.
The relations always seem to be a thing. Mind you, this nonsense happens in the cave with like 100 people outside of the damn cave.
Total unnecessary.
Unnecessary sidebar.
Yeah.
Absolutely unnecessary sidebar. Can you stop troubling the tiny humans, please?
It's so funny because
sorry.
I missed that in my first watch. I don't know if I'd gotten up or was like eating my food, but I remember I was in the bathroom getting ready and I looked out and I was like, wait, what the hell's happening? I was like,
Are they having sex?
I was like, did they smash?
And
I missed that on the first watch.
Where was the chemistry for that to even happen?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even try to build up to it a little bit.
Well, they expected us to believe that the dance that she was doing in the beginning, the love dance or whatever, was what.
Yeah.
But then he also, when he talked about her possession, he was like, like in most cases, she doesn't remember what happened at all. So it was like a plot hole for me.
Yeah, I think they should have done something more with that. And you're right. I did forget about that dance. It probably could have been connected with it, especially like when she said she didn't want to dance that night.
Yeah.
But then when she got up and to walk away, one of their guys actually did the liquid in her face thing, which shouldn't have been a bad thing because they are on the same team. They're both with Paul Winfield's group.
Yeah.
But that's what seemed to, fully change her for her to go do the dance. And then it looked like he was set up to be enraptured, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still a weird side plot.
But he does mention it in the beginning because he was like, oh, when I got there, I didn't realize that the doctor was this doctor. Like he wasn't expecting a woman, and that's how he went about explaining that.
Of course he wasn't expecting a woman. Why would he? Especially in the 80s. That was from a predominantly black country.
Mm-hmm.
That was a line that my husband definitely side-eyed. He was like, oh, he wasn't expecting a black woman is what he's saying. And I was like,
going to a country made of black people, you didn't expect the
imagine that.
Okay, my guy. Right. See, the side-eye is real. Kudos to your husband for that. Oh my goodness. And I know I'm jumping all around in the plot. It's just the main story of how I see it go. After the jungle, that's when I think he really, really gets the big hurt put on him, because he does with the corpse and all that, and the big voodoo man catches him the next day, I think, or maybe it's the day after, and takes him into like his base of operations, pretty much like his headquarters. And that's when he does the questioning. Why are you going over here? Why are you doing that?
Oh, and he put the nail through his nutsack.
And he starts puts him in that chair, ties him down, taunts him a little bit with the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know what? I'll leave. I'm sorry. What the? I said nothing.
And this is got quiet.
My aunt just walked through the living room with a belt. Okay. She's two
the
belts.
PTSD is real.
mind you, she's chasing a grown ass woman. She's chasing one of my cousins. I don't know what the girl said to her, but that's why I'm glad I'm on here with y'all. I am blameless. I didn't do it. So he's getting strapped to this chair. And first of all, you got put in a chair. That's red flag number one. You didn't even try to run, try to jump kick nobody in the kneecap so you could escape out a side door or a window. Nothing. You let this continue. And the guy starts saying, like, you know what? I understand, you thought you might have had something, but clearly you were looking in the wrong place. But I'll let you know where you don't need to go. And then I'll go ahead and send you where I want you to go. And he was like, you know what? No, I'll leave like right now. Oh yeah, you gonna leave, but not until I'm done. I need something from you first. He was like, well, what do you need? I want to hear you scream. So of course he starts screaming. Yeah, that's not good enough. It's like that little thing at the end of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know, grr,
Yeah.
why are you stealing my beer? Goodness. So he comes in and he's like, you know what? No, that's not good enough. And he takes a nail, and y'all, when I tell you he takes a nail, this water bottle, actually, let me come out of the graphics for a second.
Yeah, it was like
okay,
this long.
Like this water bottle is about how long that freaking nail was.
Yeah.
And he took it with a hammer, mind you, and he smashed this man in the nutsacks. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone really take a good solid hit to the scrote, but it's painful. 9 times out of 10, they don't even scream because they're in so much pain they can't make a sound. They can barely breathe.
Yeah, they throw up.
So here, so he screamed though. We heard it echoing down the many halls multiple times, and then they packed his bags for him. They literally walked him on the tarmac up the stairs to the plane, put him in his seat with a gun to his head, and said, "Don't come back."
So what did he do? He came back.
One-way ticket.
Always do.
What was particularly scary to me was when he did go home and he's at that dinner party. And what was the guy's name? Renaud. And he possesses that woman.
He possesses his wife. Yep.
The guy's like the fact that his power and his reach extends that far.
Was that far?
That he can possess a woman in Massachusetts all the way from Haiti should have been a clear sign.
That's a
do not mess with this guy.
But what did your ridiculous self do? You went back.
He went back.
Mind you, he even got the lightweight got a hookup when he left though. He had no reason to go back there. Mozart snuck on to the daggone plane. He saw what was going down. Was like, you know what? I'm not going to interrupt. I can't save him. So I'm going to just sit over here in the shadows and wait and see what happens. He saw his end and he got up and he said, here. And was like, dude, they took my money. I can't pay you. I'm sorry. And he says, hey, ma'am. Microphone. Thanks. Appreciate that. I love my family. Okay, so Mozart sees an in. He comes in. You know, Bill tells him he doesn't have the money, and Mozart's like, you know what? Just let these people know what my name is. Okay, tell them who I am in America because that's that's big time in the West Indies.
Yeah.
You know, somebody in America, if you can get your name big like that, that's a come up. So he's like, look, I'll take the credit. You know, just tell them about me, and he gives him the actual powder that he was looking for. So he didn't even have a reason to go back.
He likes pain.
I'm sure in his head it was to try to go save Marielle or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they want us to believe.
I think Marielle would have been okay. Right? She'd have been fine. The problem was gone. You were the problem, not her.
Exactly.
Right.
But like
it was the whole
Pocahontas
syndrome.
Yeah.
Let me go back and save her.
That's exactly
after
what it was.
Like me
he
and
had
my
to be the white savior.
Yeah.
And there was really nothing to save her from.
There wasn't
because
she was not in any danger. You were the one that was making it worse. Yeah.
As long as he wasn't around, like she's fine.
I mean, Paul Winfield's character, he was fine too. Until he came back, and what ended up happening, Paul Winfield, I think he knew what was coming, and he set him up for the best success that he could, and not even a whole minute went by after he got done is when he was taken, when he died, and his soul was entrapped as well. So, and we're getting near to basically the wrap up now. He goes through and somehow he's able to find all of the strength that he needs to find to get through this man's house of horrors to get to where he is. And, he ends up finding Marielle. She ends up calling on Paul Winfield's character, on his soul, to come and help them out. So Paul's spirit comes out, does his thing, Bill Pullman, connects again with his spirit animal, and we see it was almost like the first Mortal Kombat. No, not the first Mortal Kombat. The second Mortal Kombat when Luke finally found his animality, and they had like the creature just come out and roar. That's what happened with the freaking what was it? A panther? That was his spirit animal.
I think a leopard.
A leopard, yes.
No, a jaguar. It was a jaguar.
Yeah.
It was one of them damn cats. They all in the same family to me. So for some reason, the Loa, for anyone that isn't in the know, the Loa are basically what there are certain spirits and deities that West Indians, Haitians particularly, worship in the Voodoo religion. The Loa decided to help him because that same chair that he was tortured in was laying on his back, but then it popped up and scooted across the room. So Marielle was in there, and she says, "Yo, you've been doing all this nonsense for years, and the Loa are done with you. Basically, you're done. You pissed them off one too many times, and now you got to go." And because whatever randomness with this guy from America, that's what's going to be your downfall. Mm-hmm. So he gets pushed into the chair, and all the bindings around his head, around his arms, they all come together themselves. And he starts pleading for his life now. And Bill hits him back with the same line, like, I would let you go, but I need something from you first. I want to hear you scream. And he's not just made to scream. He's literally taken down to Hades through the concrete floor and just gone into oblivion, which is a fitting end for him. He deserved it. I'm not mad at it.
It was also classic Wes Craven.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I found it kind of cool that it aligned with Papa Doc fleeing Haiti. Because he not only lost the power that he had from having these people's spirits, but he also lost all the control he had from the government, because once the people fled,
right,
the secret police are now don't have that.
Yeah, that
power.
Was it.
And so he was losing power on multiple fronts, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing to add into, like, kind of align those things. It's reminding me of something I read recently, and I cannot think of it, and I wonder if it was the Black God's drums that I'm thinking of. But all of this, like, capturing people's spirits and everything, is just reminding me of something I read recently, and it's going to drive me crazy until I figure out what it was.
You'll remember at like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. It's driving me nuts. But anyway, I found that part to be pretty cool. I'd be down for a remake of it, even set in the same time period.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why
me too.
are you giving me spirit fingers? Oh, I'm sorry. It's my the little tiny one. Yeah, it's mine. But if you would like it, you can have it. I'm sorry. Like, my computer is like right here, and really, my cousin was over here with the spirit fingers, like, "Hey, psst." Oh, Lord. Anyways. Sorry, I have ridiculous family members. So the way this movie ended up, though, I liked the ending that the Voodoo Man got. I thought it was very fitting, and I agree with you, Tanya. I like how they sunk it up with the government ending and that downfall. All of his power with the spirits were done. Like, after Paul Winfield's character, his spirit came out, there's a couple scenes after that we see all of those bottles breaking, like the room's on fire, and every soul that he had is escaping and doing what little bit of damage they can do on their way out. And the last thing we saw of that building was him being sucked into the ether down to Hades, and the building was completely entrenched in flames. And that's usually the signal of a great evil leaving this realm of existence,
the purification,
which I thought was great. And it is classic Wes Craven, and I like that. I love that it was there. And of course, he went back home, and supposedly there are tests still being done on the toxin and what the proper zombification process is.
Brown Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson.
What's that about?
It's like a futuristic Toronto where it's pretty much everything has gone to shit. and everyone is left. And there is a character. There's Voodoo plays heavily in the story, and there's a character who.
What's it called again? Let me write
Brown
that down.
Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson. I can put it in our private chat if you want.
Please do.
To cup, because I don't think I can write in the regular chat from here. If you want to copy and paste it. There's a character who has the power to capture people's souls. And he traps a soul that he can control to do his bidding, essentially, as a spirit, not as a physical body, but he can also trap like people's bodies by trapping their spirits, and he uses them as weapons. I'm writing it in the chat now, in our chat, because I don't know how to. I don't have YouTube open. That's the story that I was thinking of. That was driving me nuts.
You Tanya, you have StreamYard up, right?
Yes.
If you click on comments, you should be able to see what's going on in the YouTube chat.
I can see it. I can't type into it.
That's weird. You should be able to type too. Huh. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I typed it into the private chat if you want to put it in there.
I see it. Yep. Got you. Thank you.
So that's this whole time I'm like, this is reminding me of something. But yeah, so yeah, there's a character who can do that. And anyway, it's a good read.
I will check that out. I'm always looking for a good book to read. Random sidebar: The Iron Widow. It's a book that just came out by. Hey, ma'am. It is by. I'm sorry. I want to actually get her name.
The Iron
mostly right. It's called The Iron Widow, and it's not necessarily completely based upon the rise of the only female emperor of ancient Chinese culture, but it's the general gist starts with her, and it is by a young lady who actually has a pretty awesome YouTube channel. She started her YouTube channel because she didn't like what they did with Mulan 2020. So she wanted to roast it, and that's what compelled her to get on YouTube.
Hilarious.
It's Ziran J. Zhao is her name. And I'm actually going to put a link to her channel in the chat. Go check out her channel, and definitely go check out The Iron Widow. It's very sci-fi and based in ancient China. It's really cool how she blended the ancient works and sci-fi. It's got like a Pacific Rim element with women and female soldiers. Like it specifically has to be one man and one woman that makes one machine go. It's just interesting. I can't say anything about it really without spoiling. So please go check it out.
That sounds like it has book club potential, Tanya.
But if you did, I would love it if you're there with
Well, this movie made me want to reread Brown Girl in the Ring.
Hey,
now.
Anna.
I'd kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah, you've actually seen the movie. Excellent. Yeah, okay, so there's the link for that. But yeah, it's a great book. You know, that was our random sidebar. I'm sorry, book things get me excited. Okay, so for the wrap up here, though, ladies, I'd love to know your main overall thoughts, and if there was something you could change in the ending, what is that one thing you would change, or even in the middle, if you think it would affect how everything wrapped up?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I think that I would have had Bill Pullman's character die. I think he should not have survived the things he had done and the things he had seen. I think that he should have died.
He was given too many chances.
Yeah, I think that he should have died, and that his people in Boston and everything would take it. They wouldn't believe any of the things that were claimed to have happened, the zombies, that they would have considered all of that to just be his imagination. Mumbo jumbo, and that they'd say he died of dysentery, or they'd believe he died of like dysentery or something, and that he was all hallucination. And then that way it's like everything is still a mystery, and there's no there's no one to go back and say what happened or anything. Like I think that he should have died and no one believed what happened to him, except Marielle obviously knows.
That's a fun twist. I think overall I really enjoyed it too. I think that what I liked was that Marielle kept trying to make a point to him that the faith was not divorced from science. Like she could still be a doctor and and believe in science, but also be very much a believer in her faith. And those two knowledges weren't mutually exclusive. I think something that I wanted to see was that like maybe he had brought it back to the States and they were going to use it, and then here comes Mozart, like, what the fuck, I thought you were going to like remember me, like this is in the pharmaceutical industry now, and then for there to be like a war on the pharmaceutical companies, but that was too advanced for 1988. So
Nice.
corporations.
I actually
Want to snuggle
think,
up?
yes, actually, I will take the
I will
snuggles.
show you who Linda is.
Sorry, another tiny human sighting.
Oh, I see little
And I will definitely come out of the Matrix for this one because she is my this is our newest bugbear. Say
Baby.
hi, honey.
Oh, so chubby.
All right,
I want to go get my baby.
I'm gonna stay out of the graphics since she was given to me to hold.
Oh,
I love her.
She always get my baby and hold him.
She always wakes up when I come over, so that makes me feel like she heard my voice. She wants me to hold her.
Oh,
So yeah, I think I would go also with Bill Pullman's character dying, but the small twist would be that lady that was possessed when he was sent back home. I would have her be in an asylum because all of those memories came to her in dreams or visions, and they don't know what to do with her. And because they don't know exactly what happened with Bill, they're afraid of what might be happening, but they're going to be the typical hoity-toity. And oh no, there's just some random ramblings. She's crazy. None of that ever happened. And there'll be a twist from there. But maybe later on, Marielle sees something else comes up, and it involves Marielle, and she has to come to the States to see this woman about something, and it opens the case wide open, and all this random backstory and mystery from the culture comes through. I don't know exactly how it would go, but something like that would really tweak me into wanting to see more of that world.
This house is abusive.
I'm sorry. Oh, she called me right as I was getting ready to drink. Oh boy. But anyways,
I would have liked to see him have a healthy fear too, but like that just like goes along with it. Like I would have been more scared if he was afraid. Like he was never the only time he ever seemed afraid. The only time he got afraid was when they were in the graveyard and they saw the gravediggers, and all of a sudden he was like, I don't want to play anymore. Let's go home. This is all bullshit. But it wasn't
when he was in the chair.
Yeah.
When he was in the chair. Those are the only two times. And in this whole movie and in everything that happened, you should have been way more afraid, my guy. I don't know why he had the attitude that he did.
Yeah, you already know that's based on your experience. Like they gave us the preamble of like supernatural things have happened to you.
Right. You've already had so many warnings, my guy. Like you do that, you end up in the chair of pain. that's just the only thing that can happen to you.
Or I would say if he had come back and then things started going wrong for him in the States, and then that would have been a little bit
like he's cursed.
Like
that could have been another continuance too. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. All right, so that's before it gets too much more louder in my background. That is basically The Serpent and the Rainbow. And if you like, some good spooky stories, definitely go check it out. I don't think you could find it on any streaming service. Like I said, it did come out like in the 80s, and I don't think it was big enough for it to be in anybody's archives. But you can easily find it to watch for free in a few different places if you know where to look. So just go on the hunt if you're interested. Ladies, thank you so much. This is actually the first live stream that we've been on together.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here with me. I was really glad to work with you guys. My sweetie baby.
Thanks for inviting
So
us.
I don't. Oh, it's a pleasure. I've actually been wanting to do something with you guys for a while. I just didn't know what we could chat about. So I will definitely try to make the next book club coming up though, because that story
is
sounds
November
very
14th.
November 14th.
Yes. Yes, and the book
I
is the
have that
chilling
marked on the
chilling
calendar.
effect. I have it here.
Valerie Valdez.
Chilling effect by
And
Valerie
for
Valdez.
anyone watching now and watching later, the link to the ladies podcast is in the description. So please go check them out. If you are a part of the Game of Thrones community and you didn't know they existed, now you know. You don't have any
knowing
excuses.
is half the battle.
Half the battle. G.I. Joe. Sorry, I'm an 80s kid. So again, thank you for joining me. Hopefully we'll be able to do something soon. I know Heidi wants to do some work with you guys as well, so hopefully we can link up with that in the coming months. Get something straightened out.
We were supposed to do a Marvel rewatch together, Alicia.
We were that. You know what? I knew there was something I'd forgotten to write down, and I could not remember what it was we had talked about before. Let me actually put that on my list right now that I have, so I do not forget.
I have not seen the most recent movies though, because
I haven't either. I have not seen Shang-Chi.
So I'm not going to the movies. Me neither. And the Eternals is next week, and it's unlikely that I'm going to go see that until it.
What else just came out?
Shang-Chi just came out. Black Widow came out a little while ago.
Now I've seen Widow.
I saw Widow.
Maybe it's because Spider-Man's coming up. I don't think I'm going to see Spider-Man in theaters. Unfortunately, I'm just not going to have the time to go. But yeah, we can definitely.
Yeah, Venom just came out too, but that doesn't fall into the watch.
Yeah, I think that may be what I was thinking about. The only reason I want to see that, honestly, is just because of the end credit scene that I've already been told about. I typically don't care too much about spoilers. No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay, no, I care a lot about spoilers.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Yeah, there's something interesting coming up, and that's the only reason that I want to see it. Besides that, though, we'll definitely get that on. Now that it's on my calendar and on my radar again, we can definitely work out how you want to do the rewatch. And if you, we can do it off stream or on stream. However, I think I've got enough tech and programs that we can work it out to just make it super fun for folks to watch with us.
I mean, it's only 157 movies, so you know,
we do that in a month. No, that's actually gonna take some work, but it's definitely time that I'm willing to put in. You know, the real world does not stop for the streams, unfortunately. So we just got to work around the time that we have.
Yeah.
But we will make that time, you know, as we can for the funds, because I love streaming about things, and Marvel is just right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
So that will bring our stream to a conclusion. Ladies, do you guys have anything coming up? Please share and drop any links in the chat that you would like to.
So we have book club November 14th. That was the book I was holding up, Chilling Effect. I'll hold it up again. Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdez. That's November 14th. And we will do another trivia in December. We don't have a date set yet, but we'll do a December trivia. It'll likely be something related to the holidays.
December 12th.
December 12th?
Yeah, that's what I have on my calendar.
Okay, I'm going to put it in mine.
And then for January 16th, if you want to jump ahead on the read, we're going to be reading the 5th season by N.K.
Oh, I had that in my calendar. You're right.
Yeah, we planned ahead.
Look at us. Look at us go. Yes, the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin for our January read.
Yeah. The first book of the Broken Earth trilogy. If you haven't read that, oh my God, it's so great.
Honestly, read all 3. I highly, highly, highly recommend it.
So
I've reread them multiple times already, and they were the first. It's the first series where every book won a Hugo.
Yeah,
it's the first time that's ever happened, and it was well worth it. It's an amazing series. But the next one is Chilling Effect, November 14th, December 12th trivia, and so that's those are our next things coming up. If you can also go to our YouTube channel and watch our past book club to get an idea of how we do it, if that interests you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that link is also in the description.
Awesome.
I don't have too much coming up. JD and I are still going through The Expanse. As you know, I have watched,
to get through that,
but he has not. So this is It's me taking him through our first journey, and I do want to do some episode discussions. Like I've done episode discussions with folks before, but that was for like season 4 and 5.
I've
I would
only
love
watched
to do
season
a
1.
wrap up from the beginning. You are right on time then, because me and JD are still in season 1, so that's okay. If
Oh my
Nikki,
gosh.
if you want to come through with a rewatch, hey,
Hell
let's talk
yeah.
about it, because I love
that
everything
show.
about The Expanse.
Oh my god, me too.
Absolutely. Okay,
I need to get back on it. I only watched season 1, and I watched it 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And I only remember that
because like season 2 is where everything kicks off, and you're just like,
Season 1 is the setup. Season 1 is like the
world
long,
building,
sometimes slow world building setup, but all of it is worth knowing. And then
I don't
you get to
feel like rewatching it. I want to start season
Bobby
2.
comes in. Okay, you don't have to rewatch if you remember enough to just jump to season 2.
No, I don't remember anything.
You know what? But they'll do you get a solid, like when you get it, you'll do like the episode, like the season 1 recap right before it starts. This is what happened in season 1.
Okay,
and then
that's all I need.
Hold on. If you go to there's 2 guys, Pete Peppers or Alt Shift X. He I think both of them did recaps for season 1 of The Expanse. And Alt Shift X, I'm gonna give a little bit of edge to him because he actually has a partnership with Amazon Prime, to where he's like done interviews with the cast and whatnot. So definitely check him out. I've met him. I know him from the Game of Thrones community, and I met him at the last Con of Thrones, and he's actually cool. He's really cool people. So okay, we might have a lot of different soccer things coming up, as it seems, folks. So we'll coordinate, behind the scenes and see what good fun content we can get with that. I would love actually to catch you guys with a reaction video, because that's how me and JD are watching. We're filming the reactions. I am currently in editing mode and learning the editing program that I'm using. So I think we've got about half of season 1 down, and I'm just
editing program are you using
and waiting until it's ready. So what'd you say?
What's the editing program you're using?
Filmora.
Oh, interesting.
Super user friendly. Very. Are you now? Okay.
That's what I do for work.
I don't make a whole lot of fundage, but I always believe in paying artists for their work. So we might need to talk, because I am not about the editing game. It's so time consuming. I don't get me wrong. I love doing it, but boy, is it time consuming. It takes really a while when you're learning as you're doing it too. Mm-hmm. But I'm all in for it. So yeah, okay. I'm putting a pin in all of this, ladies, and we're going to talk. So folks, come back and join us. Stick around. I'm always on the Twitters, and when things come up, I always post links. So please be on the lookout. Definitely, again, go check out the ladies, Tanya and Nikki, and go hit up JD's channel also. Give him a like and a sub, because that's where I'm going to be posting all of our Expanse reactions. We're also going to be doing the Wheel of Time when that comes up.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
We're probably going to be doing the reactions on JD's channel, and then we're going to do the discussions on my channel. So I will peg you in for that right now. Also,
so in for
we're having a watch party on the 19th.
When does it come out? November 19th.
Hey,
Oh, we lost you for a second. What did you say, Alicia?
What is it? It's because you said it's coming up on the 19th. Is the date that close already?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. I got to get ready. So yeah, well, look out for all the links on that, guys. Apparently, I'm going to have a few things dropping that I didn't even know I would be dropping. So all right, and I'm going to have some more awesome ladies hang with me. That just sounds like a great formula for all of the fun in my life. So we'll see you guys later, though. We've rambled on enough, and I think we've been ending for about 20 minutes. So, bye, I guess, is all I will say. Look out for new things coming in the future. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please stay safe and sanitized out there, okay? Happy Halloween.